Sup nerds, I'm Tom. We're going to talk about Dead Reckoning, which is the new pirate game from AEG, which is why I'm wearing this hat that doesn't fit and why I have a bottle of rum. Because this is what we call production quality. This is what we call extremely high production quality. You're watching Neverboard Gaming. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum and all that stuff. So first things first, since this is a Kickstarter preview, I've got a couple little caveats. Like, first of all, obviously everything you see here is in prototype form. However, this is like one of the best prototypes I've ever seen. It's very, very close to production quality. It is about 85% the same as the final game. Also in this video, I'm not going to tell you exactly how to play the game. I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it and sort of a feel for the game to let you decide if it's the type of game that would be right for you. Now, all that being said, what is Dead Reckoning? Well, in a word, a lot. It's sort of like Western Legends and Scythe and Mystic Vale all mixed together. There's a lot going on here. It's, I don't want to say it's a heavy game, but it certainly is a big game. Like, obviously I don't even need to say that to you because you can tell that it's taking up a huge amount of space on the table here. And actually, I mean, I didn't even fully set everything up for the video. I just kind of, splayed it out, like I kind of half-assed it a bit. But if you were to ask what the main mechanic is, honestly, it's kind of hard to say because it does feel very sandboxy, where you have this big open world, and actually everything here is flipped over. They all start face down, and you move out and you explore with your little ship. Actually, I didn't even pull out. Everybody gets this little treasure chest here with all their player pieces, the little player ship, all of their cubes, all their little flag markers, which go to mark achievements, because it has this sort of Scythe-like way of ending the game, where there's all these different achievements or accomplishments, whatever. Once you complete one, you put down one of your little flags, and once you do 4, that's what triggers the end of the game, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So you're going to be moving your little ship around the board, exploring new islands and trying to take control of new islands by putting down your cubes on those islands, produce resources and build buildings on those islands, and fight other players, either to just straight up, destroy them or plunder them, or to try and take their islands, take those islands that are yours back from them, or take islands from them, or defend your islands or whatever. And the main mechanic that's sort of driving it would be this Mystic Vale sort of card crafting, deck building type of thing. It's not exactly like Mystic Vale in the fact that there is none of that press your luck aspect, but you are going to be sort of deck building. We have the same number of cards, but you're crafting those cards to make them a bit better. I really feel like card crafting is just a newer form of deck building, where you're building a deck but you keep the same number of cards, I know they're not exactly the same, but I feel like they definitely have a similar feel. Everybody starts initially with the same hand of cards, and as time goes on, you can pick up new advancements on the board. There's levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are just like the strength of the cards. Like level 1s don't do all that much, but level 4s do a lot more. And they do have a top, middle, and bottom, but they also, if you're a Mystic Vale player, this is a bit different. They also have a 4th. They have like a top, middle, and bottom for the advancements, but then the cards themselves, that as they start, they already have something on the very, very, very bottom, which none of these advancements that you buy down here will affect. Like your captain, your deckhand, your bosun, your gunner, all those stuff. Those are cards in and of themselves that you can add a top, middle, and bottom to, but on their very, very, very bottom, they have certain abilities that are going to upgrade every round. You're going to upgrade one of these cards. You're going to pull out your captain card, flip it upside down, and put it back in to bring it up to level 2, and then 3, and then 4. And once you get all the way up to level 4, actually, or having 3, I think, having 3 different cards at the level 4 is one of the achievements that you need. But it's interesting because it's like a more advanced Mystic Vale. Like they had, so there's Mystic Vale, I know the other one was Custom Heroes, I think. I didn't play that one, but they did have Edge of Darkness, and I did play that one, and that was still a 1, 2, and 3 on the cards. And here, it's like they took that idea and went a step further with it, which I really like. I think that's awesome. In addition to upgrading the cards in your hand and adding advancements on the cards in your hand, you can also upgrade your ship, which means you could be able to hold more stuff. You can hold more gold and barrels, which is like the resource in the game. You can have more sails, so you can move faster, and you can have more cannons, which help in battles. And battles, hey Tom, is that what that awesome cube tower is for? You're goddamn right. This cube tower is super cool and really unique. I haven't seen it in any other games. I know that, again, in Edge of Darkness, they did have a cube tower, but it wasn't used for the same purpose, and I think it wasn't as innovative as this one is. This one, it really does kind of like replicate dice, but it's just in a much cooler way. And so you take all these cubes and you drop them down whenever you're going to battle. You're either going to battle another player, or you're going to battle sort of an NPC. There are like merchant ships on the board that you can fight for, different rewards for winning and rewards for losing. But you drop your color cubes and the opponent's cubes down into the ship here, and then it comes out on the wake, and wherever they land is basically, that's like the die face that you rolled in a sense. But there's little explosions. There's ways that you can knock other cubes out. So like you have effects on cards. Like I'm going to drop this many cubes because that's how many cannons I have. But then but after I drop those cubes, I also have this card that says, gives me a battle effect to drop 2 cubes. So I'm going to drop these 2 cubes, and those could like mess with the other cubes that are out there. So it's a really unique and cool way of having battles. And I'm actually not a fan of non-dice battles, generally. Like when battles are more deterministic, when they're card-based battles, like in Heroes of Landaran Sea, I had a little bit, not like a problem with it, but I was just like, dice are just the pinnacle of fighting for me. But this sort of replicates dice, but pumps it up and makes it different and gives you different decisions, and like, I don't know. This one's pretty dang dope. Like I said before, this game sort of has that Scythe-style endgame trigger system with these achievements. So whenever you're the first to explore a certain number of islands, you put your little flag out there. Whenever you're the first to spend 12 barrels, you can put your little flag out there. First to have 30 coins, you can put your little flag out there. First to upgrade your ship 4 times, you put your little flag out there, So it's one of those things where you really want to focus on certain achievements so you can hurry up and get them because, well, not only are those endgame triggers, maybe you might want to rush the game out, but they also do give you points. But you also kind of have to diversify because you can't just pick one route and then crush with it. You have to get at least 4 of these things to really trigger the end of the game. Now, not necessarily win the game, though, because after you trigger the end of the game, then you count points. And those things do give you points. All the gold that you have is points. Advancements that you put in your cards are points. There are also there are point cards. Like advancements sometimes will just straight up have, hey, at the end of the game, get this many points for this many things that you have. There's also a lot of points come from controlling different islands, having first, second, and third number of cubes on there. Like whoever has the most cubes on this island controls it and gets this many points. If this other player has a couple cubes, they'll get this many points. If this person has the third amount of cubes, then they get this many points. You're probably familiar with that type of thing from other games. There is a lot of strategy in this game, a lot of different things that you can do. It is a big, epic game. Again, it's going to take up most of your table. It's going to take a while to set up and to tear down, and it's going to take a good amount to play. Like the last game I played probably took about 3 hours, maybe a little bit more. I mean, granted, that's with teach and everything, so your subsequent games could go faster, and also you are somewhat in control of the length of the game because of the achievements. You could be holding off on completing achievements because you want to pick up more islands or something like that. So you are in control of the length of the game a good bit. The quality of this game is also just really great. Like I was saying earlier, again, this prototype is probably one of the nicest prototypes I've ever played. It really looks and feels like we're playing just with the actual game. And since the actual game will be even better than this, I'm really excited to see the full production quality because it's going to be extremely dope. Like this cube tower obviously is amazing. The fact that you actually get all of your advancements in these little cases, which is kind of important because these aren't just advancements, these are advancements and those merchant ships, those like NPC players that you can attack, and they are double-sided. Like they'll say on one side, go and attack this, and when you choose to attack it is when you flip it over and you see how many cubes that thing has, like how much strength it is, and what the win and lose conditions are. So you do want to keep those sort of hidden. So these are not just, niceties for the game. They do serve a functional purpose. Everybody getting a little treasure chest is nice. It's just, this game has been pumped up a lot to look and feel really, really great. And when you're playing this game, it does feel extremely epic. So if you're a fan of these big, epic sandbox style games, I'd highly recommend this one. I think you're gonna love it. It really does feel like Scythe, Western Legends, and Mystic Vale all kind of rolled into one. If any of what I was talking about in this video sounds interesting to you, in the description box down below, there's going to be a link for the Kickstarter. I highly recommend you go back this game. Also down in the description box down below, there's going to be links for game toppers. There's also going to be a little button that says subscribe, which I highly recommend you do as well, because that way you will never be bored. Whew, so fluid.